everyone! In this video I'm going to show you how to add an analytic rubric that you create to an assignment. So if you scroll down to an assignment that you want to add a rubric to, I'm going to go ahead and choose Learning Log 2 here, and you click into the assignment. You can choose from the gear to edit the assignment settings. When you scroll down to the additional tools, you'll see that you can add a grading rubric, and you want to click here. And then you have a few choices. In this video, we're going to specifically create an analytic rubric. So this is what we're going to be choosing. In another video, you'll see how you can generate a rubric. And another option is if you have an existing rubric, you can add the existing rubric to an assignment. So let's click create. You'll see that Blackboard is going to give you a default setup for your analytic rubric. And Blackboard is well designed for analytic rubrics. That's what their default template is looking like. And an analytic rubric is when each criterion has a performance definition with some description. So there's going to be some words to describe what each of the performance definition looks like for each of the criteria. First, you can name your rubric. So I'll call it Practice Learning Log. The next step that you'll want to do is determine how many criteria you want to have in the rubric. The default in Blackboard is to have 4. I actually only need 2, so I'm going to go ahead and delete a couple of those, and I'm going to call criterion 1. You can just rename these. What I'm showing you is because I deleted some of the criteria, the 25% per criteria wasn't adding up to 100%. So I decided that in my criteria, I wanted to have the analysis overall be counting for 75% of the total grade and the professional presentation for just 25%. Now I'm going to go ahead and delete one of these performance definitions because I only want to have 3, and I'm going to rename those. Okay, and now I want to decide what percentage I want to have each of these performance definitions count for. So 100% for target looks good to me, 50% for approaching is fine, but I'd like to adjust this one so that students are getting 85% of the total points for this allotted to this criterion if they're scoring in the acceptable range. The last thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to put my descriptors in here. So So you want to make sure that however you describe the different levels of performance, it's clear to students that what it is that they have, how their work is kind of matching that definition. One thing I try to do in the rubrics that I create is see if I can describe what is present as opposed to what's not present or what's lacking. Your rubrics will have your own personal approach and style to how you want to do this. The last thing that you'll want to do is determine whether or not your rubric is going to be a percentage rubric or you also has a percentage range points or points range options. I like the percentage rubric because if I'm going to assign 85% of the total 75% for this in this rubric and I'm making the assignment overall worth 2 points, that will calibrate and the math will be done automatically. So the percentages will be calculated to those percentages of 2 points. And then if I want to use this rubric for another assignment where it's a 5-point assignment, I can assign this same rubric to the 5-point assignment, and that will be calculated to percentage-wise add up to the points possible out of 5 points. You can also do a point range. If you do that, you're going to get point ranges like this, and then when you score the assignment for the student, you'll be manually entering the percentage points, the specific percentage points that they have earned within the range that you have specified here, and you can edit those as well, you see. You could also choose points if you want to just do a points-based rubric, and you could do a points range if you wanted to have this be, let's say, 8 to 10 points, this be 6 to 8 points, and so forth down the rubric. Okay, in that case, like with the percentage range, you're going to have to manually enter the specific point that they got for the score on the rubric as you score their work. Once you're done, you can save this rubric, and then you can add it to the assignment. We have this one right here, add like this, save, and that's attached to your assignment.